Hey guys, and welcome to the podcast that exists where we talk about PU. Why do we do that again?
Yeah. It's been a year and a bit going, hasn't it?
It has. I still have no idea why. Oh well, Untier Talk. That's what it is. I'm Megazard. That's Jed.
What's up, guys?
So we've got tournament news and we've got Guzzlord news. What do you want to do first?
Tournament news is probably a bit quicker than Guz, so
Yeah, okay.
Let's start with that.
PU Open is still happening. Replays aren't required until next round, so I know a lot of people aren't getting super hyped for it because there's not a lot to watch, but I think people should definitely follow it as our biggest tournament. Kind of sucks that a lot of big names got like really unlucky, so now we have like some good tour players, but in terms of PU recognizable people as well, like Tom Holland I think is the big community rallying point right now.
The mainer of choice at the moment. I mean, we have a few. We have
Teddy.
Ted. Yeah.
It really is mostly Teddy and Tom Holland. I know. I'm still pulling for false, and Serene Grace definitely made some friends during PUPL. But yeah, that's it in terms of the main people. But there are also some like tournament names who, even if you're not going to be like super rooting for them, I think once we actually get to see them play, because we haven't. Because fucking replay rules, I think it'll be fun to see people like Poek and Star, if assuming they win this round, of course. Harry Toenail, Pogis.
Yeah.
You know.
There's quite. I think the last stages of this tour have gotten we have a lot of really good players, like just quality wise towards the end. And that probably is going to happen for a lot of the opens, but I feel like, especially so for PU, I think this is it's a good showing for like skilled players and stuff.
I think for the most part, yeah, there's a couple people I think will probably be going out this round that might be a little bit lower tier, but yeah, I mean this has been it's still pretty good, and I don't see as much discussion on it as I'd like, but you know I can't force people to be interested in things. The other tournament news is just that Smogon Snake Draft is happening. PU is included, and only manager signups are up. So, well, by the time the podcast is done, player signups will be up. Go sign up. Make this player pool good. On it, we'll probably still see at least a few, if not a majority of the starting slots go to non-PU mains. But you know, This is good stuff for PU. There's not much to say yet. So kind of same as open. I just want people to like, if you like the tier, if you want to support PU, like take note of these things is important. But you know,
yeah, I'd say especially if you're like a newer PU player, not signing up doesn't really hurt you in any sense. And also, if you do get the opportunity to play in a tour like Snake, like there's a huge opportunity there for you to make like really big waves in the community as well. So I would say definitely sign up, even if you don't think you'll get drafted.
For sure. And some people blow up in Snake, and if you can make a good impression on managers who don't know the player base that well, then it's a good opportunity, especially if you're providing some like strong builds or stuff. There's a lot to do with Snake, and even if you don't get drafted, a lot of people still aren't drafted, but then will help out teams with builds and prepping and stuff. Like there's a whole meta around that obviously I can't speak to as much as you could, since I've only ever been a PU main, whereas you played SPL. So
yeah, I would say preparation has a lot to do with it, but mainly what managers will look for is an X factor, somebody that can win a week on their own. So whether you can do that in the builder, or you can do that actually making plays, and managers won't really care. So yeah,
for sure.
There's
so yeah, I think that about covers it. It's probably those are going to be our main topics for the next few weeks, probably, because we've kind of moved out of the whole like big PUPL stuff. But there's still a suspect. We banned Guzzlord. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think everyone did. Like there were very few no ban votes. I know Teddy on Discord said he thought it shouldn't be banned, and I don't think I've seen anyone else even trying to argue for it. Like,
yeah, I feel like you can make an argument for Guzzlord in the same way that you could have made an argument for Hariyama, where there's a lot of breaking, but there's like a good element to having it in the tier. But yeah, I think personally speaking, the bad elements of the Z move sets and the 50/50s that it comes with just aren't worth it. It's not worth that extra baggage.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I'm looking for a quote that I really liked about why Guzzlord should have been banned. Guzzlord wasn't like, I don't even know that I'd call it the best Pokemon in the metagame, like outright. Like you could argue that it was, but it was never like that kind of, yeah, this is straight up the best, super dominating. But the effect that Guzzlord had was just, there's so much variance with everything it can do, all the sets and everything it can provide. It can kind of just take player skill out of the equation with, how it's borderline like unrevengeable, and it can run so many different sets, and it's just hard to account for effectively. So maybe you've accounted for like the right set that they brought, but maybe it's just going to do its thing. And
yeah, I feel like it's kind of responsible a lot for how the meta was turning out towards the end of PUPL, where it was sort of like, okay, here's my physical meta check, and here's my special meta check, and I'm going to switch the right one into Guzzlord, and then hopefully I don't lose. Mm-hmm. That's basically how the meta ended up turning out, and I feel like everybody kind of noticed it a little bit. So I think it's a good thing that we ended up killing Guzzlord. Because at least with Drampa, like, a lot of people made the argument also that Drampa's more threatening, like, offensively. But I feel like with Drampa, at least you know where, like, the threat is coming from. You know it's coming from the special attacking side. You know that if you switch in your special defensive Pokemon, it's not going to take the hit. So playing aggressively around Drampa, especially with its, like, less than good bulk, isn't as difficult as it is with Guzzlord, where, like, Guzzlord would tank any fighting move that you throw at it, or like any ice move, depending on the like assault vest set or how much investment they have in Viz Def. So yeah, it's kind of stupid in that regard. Yeah, I don't think anybody will miss it.
Yep, that shit's gone, and I think we're all about happier for it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, nothing else. There's no public replays. Is not like Open is the major tour that's kind of closed off to a lot of people, so there hasn't been a lot of like public meta development since then. But we'll be updating the VR soon with some thoughts on the new meta, and yeah, and then obviously, as we get more public Open and Snake, we'll get to see more of.
Do you want to have like a quick chat about the potential Pokemon that you've seen like be pretty decent in the new Guzma? I have a couple of things that
Yeah, okay.
A couple of things that I thought.
I think Electros is weirdly like, I know Electros could check Guzzlord. I still think Electros, like regardless of that, is just really, really annoying right now. It's always been a mon where, like, despite running Assault Vest, it's not actually that good at being fat and walling things. Like, it doesn't do that. It's a purely offensive mon that runs Assault Vest for the utility.
Yeah.
But it's just like so good of a breaker. Like, actually switching into Electros is just really silly.
Yeah, I think the thing is with Electros is that if you have any like passivity in your team whatsoever, like even if it's like Wisp Hex Frostlass, it will abuse that, and it's really good at abusing that. And how I like to put it is, before this whole thing happened when it was really unpopular, it felt like it resisted nothing. But now, after the Guz meta, and like even during the Guz meta for a bit, especially during PUPL, it resisted everything.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a huge like swing there almost in how good and how viable it was. And yeah, I think 100% it's probably one of the best Pokemon in it, especially in terms of like a utility thing that you just slap on a team. It's so useful.
When Electros comes in on your Frostlass, what are you switching in? You're not.
Well, don't ask me that question because we'll answer that later in the.
God damn it! Not him, please.
It is him.
All right, Electros. I thought that was a big winner.
Do you have anything else?
I had some mons I thought got a lot worse. Skuntank feels bad right now. You'd think Guzzlord.
Yeah, I mean
you'd think Guzzlord leaving would make it better. And honestly, I think in theory, Skunk, like if people started running a lot of Choice Band Skuntank, I think this Mon could like get back to being like deserving of that A+ status pretty quickly, or like really just working around it more. But right now, it just feels kind of like, why am I using this? It doesn't.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like the special set I feel like is now vastly superior to the physical sets now, purely because unless you're using the physical sets for like support, like a pursuit support, in that case, in which case, that's a good reason to use Skunk because it's still a great Pokemon at that. But I feel like the special sets now are much more appetizing, given that all of the things that will be switching into Skunk, like Regirock, Mudsdale, Ferroseed as well, all those things, those are going to be the main switch-ins. So Skunk's going to hit them much harder on the special side. Plus it can defog a bit easier on those Pokemon in comparison to, I think it did take a bit of a hit. I think it took more of a hit, to be honest, from Mesprit leaving and Ferroseed dropping than Guzzlord, to be honest. I feel like...
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Skunk did not like Guzzlord being in the meta. It's just, it's really surprising how much it's fallen off.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of things that have stood out for me, to be honest. Like, I feel like Combuskin is now at a point where it's like super scary, mainly because SD sets, you'll get a lot more of the ability to like get free Swords Dance stuff on Frostlats. Like, it's not difficult for a Combuskin to really get the Swords Dance off nowadays, especially if you have like Silvally, because that's a really popular like pivot nowadays. Getting a parting shot off and getting a Swords Dance for free isn't too much to ask. And
I'm sorry.
I think Combuskin's a big thing. I also recently have been using a lot of Figgy Kangaskhan. I feel like it's now a bit that set in particular is more superior to like any of the old Kanga sets, the like Silk Scarf or the Normalium Z. I feel like Figgy Berry is better of making Kanga useful for longer than it's supposed to be. Like, because you're going to bringing Kanga a lot of the time in to like on top of Stealth Rocks and stuff, because you're going to want to use it for fake out damage. So you're going to be chipping yourself a lot, and then you're also going to be hitting yourself with double edge recoil. Sometimes you're going to be trying to use it to like 1v1 a Mudsdale or like weaken a Regirock. So it's important to have, I feel like, that extra 50% when you get below 25% health.
Yeah, I agree with the Figgy Kangaskhan. I think Kangaskhan is another mon kind of like Skuntank, where the more people are able to mess with it, I think it could really pop. And Figgy is one of those things, like you said, it makes sense why you'd want to use it. Combuskin, to me, it still feels kind of hit or miss. Like, it will just win matchups, and it will just kind of not do a lot in matchups. Admittedly, like the big issue with it previously is that when it was useless in a matchup, it was really just like dead weight. Whereas now I think it's never going to be that bad. It's always going to be able to put out a decent amount of like threatening presence.
I feel like especially now.
But I don't know. I don't think it's going to ever be able to pop too much. Like it'll be solid, but I don't think it's going to get crazy.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think the big thing with Kanga is that Combuskin is that you can almost use it a bit like offense control, like a non-scarfer that you can use to like really put its authority on like offense style of team. Because if if Combuskin gets a Swords Dance versus an offense team, it's over. Like there's no way that offense team is going to be able to revenge kill it, because you can protect on fake outs and you can dodge priority that way. And so unless you have Aqua Jet, which not many Pokemon from Tier do have.
Basculin, boys.
I guess we're going to be using
fuck Basculin. Anyone who says they like Basculin, you're wrong.
I built a Basculin team once.
Of course you did.
In PUPL. That thing was hot.
Okay.
It also bit versus Pom Pom. So
let's see, Combuskin, Kangaskhan. We didn't mention Alolan Persian. I think that's kind of obvious. And like whatever.
Yeah,
it wasn't usable with Guzzlord in the meta. Nasty Plot was not usable, and now it's going to go back to being like pretty scary. So yeah,
I think that's fair shout as well.
Yeah, there's that.
Um,
Honestly, I really think Shiinotic might end up being like slowly more useful. As much
Wait,
as much
because
as it
Ferris exists?
as much as it pains me to say that, even though we have Pharisee, um,
That's
with
interesting.
if we see Girder and Alolan Persian both popping off, then Shiinotic seems like a natural consequence.
Yeah, I feel like no, there's
You're
something you
seeing
touched
more
on there that
Jellicent, you're seeing more Lantern. It's not even like that terrible versus Electros, or at
yeah,
least like
I feel like
it's not super pressured by it the way other Mons are, which is really big.
mhm, yeah, I
Lots
think
more Primate.
there's something that you pointed out which was quite important, which is that it you say again.
The way it's
You
not
said
pressured by
oh
Electros
wait,
the
no
way other
wait.
things are.
No. You said that it was a solid way of taking on Gerda, and I feel like that's an important point to address because I feel like Gerda now has become like at a point where it's really difficult to check. Like you have to be preparing for it at the team builder, and the thing is with Gerda is that you can't just check the same. You can't just check Gerda with the same thing that you'd use to check Primate. So there's going to be almost overemphasis on Gerda or underemphasis. So you're going to see a lot of people trying to like see how far they can push it, how little they can prep for a fighting type and get away with it. Because of course anybody can run a Sableye and like not a threat, but you know how close is it? How like where's the line exactly? Like can I run a Swanna and then just not bother about fighting types now, or like there's a fine line there.
No,
So
and
that's going to be interesting to see.
I think it is pretty annoying for offense teams and stuff how Swanna and Pom Pom and those kinds of things really do not feel like they give you enough leeway versus Girder at all. They don't. It's not enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Silvally Fairy. You need more. Victory Bell can kind of do it on its own as long as you have like a defensive backbone that lets you not sack it because it's always going to get revenge killed. Like not a lot of Mons can genuinely say, yeah, that can be just my Girder thing, and I can just make that my Girder thing, and then I don't have to worry about Girder as long as it's alive.
Yeah, I think you point out something with offense as well. That offense would usually have like a Mesprit somewhere on the team, either as like Healing Wish support or somewhere thereabouts, like a Carmine set, Carmine Breaker set. Like it would have some sort of Mesprit there, but now Mesprit's gone. Offense really doesn't have that same support structure that it used to have, and it's going to be super interesting to see how people adapt and try and take on Gerda now. I assume Swanna is going to get a lot more usage, but that's pure speculation at this point. We haven't seen anything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I pretty much agree with what you've been saying about the meta. Like, yeah. It also, I think there's something to be said for like now that we don't have Guzzlord, we do have some other like unwallable breakers. Drampa is pretty much always going to get a kill. Victory Bell pretty much always going to get a kill. Abomasnow is not quite there because it definitely requires a bit more prediction. Stoutland also never quite there, but pretty close. And it's going to be interesting to me to see. I don't think anything is going to get to the level of Guzz because obviously they don't have the defensive pressure. They don't have the set variability. But I think it'll be interesting to see what people gravitate to. Which ones end up being more preferred, or do they all get a good amount of time on their own? So yeah, that's a thought I am having.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will gravitate towards Drampa. It's just the obvious thing. Like especially the meta check heavy meta, where you have like Spudef check, Vizdef check, and then like offensive core. I feel like Dramp can really abuse those styles at the moment. Also, given that Vicky is super popular, especially as a Gerda check, stopping the strength sap with Sap Sipper is huge. Like if you have a Gerda and you're like playing a Victory Bell and you have a Dramp in the back, you basically get to stop the heal move at any point in the game, just forcing it. Like even if your opponent predicts it, like you can then come in and then pressure out the the victory belt. So I think Dramp will get a lot more usage. I also think we'll see Omastar get a bit more usage as well. That's just a bit of speculation, but I think because the stealth rockets in general are going to be a lot slower, and it can force pretty much all of them out. I feel like it's in a solid spot in this meta as well.
For sure, and I think that's also another good reason to say like Shiinotic as just something that stops Specs Draco spam could definitely start seeing more usage, and I'm not happy about that, but it is what it is. I think we can move into our last segment now, or was there anything else that you would want to mention?
No, I think we're good. I think we're ready.
Yeah. Minor PSA. When I went, oh no, it's because I just saw the news that Nintendo's finally going to do a direct for the Hero, and I won't be around. But I just want to drop the PSA because it's going to like be about an hour after I tend to upload Untier Talk is going to be their Nintendo Direct, and I know a lot of people listening will be interested in that. So, yeah, you listen to Untier Talk, and then you'll have about half an hour, and then it'll be time for the Hero. So, just reminding you guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can do your gimmicks now. I'm more concerned with Smash than Mons. Don't judge me.
So I would like to redirect you to earlier in the podcast where Bippy told me how do we check Electros, and this got the creative juices flowing, and I was thinking, well, how do you check Electros? Because in a lot of the slam chats I'm in as well, a lot of people are saying, yo, dude, Electros is ridiculous. Why aren't more people using it? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, Electros is pretty
Wasn't
good,
it supposed to be broken in Black, White, and Gen 6 RU? Like,
yeah.
Wasn't that the same exact issue? And people were like, no, it's not broken. It's just annoying. Anyway.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah. And I think you just have to not be lazy when checking Electros. So when I say not lazy, you have to use some special tactics.
Be proactive.
You have to be proactive. Like Choice Banded Camera Up is one of my personal favorites.
Choice Banded Camera Up.
Yeah, you can just explode on him. It's a great set.
Of course.
Like, you have also Assault Vest Golurk. That's a classic. We have Gabite can still come in on it. Like
this is true, although I would definitely consider running HBIce now. Like you got knockoff for Clefairy. You've got maybe your Acid Spray. You've got maybe your T-Bolt to stain and beat Jellicent, or even Discharge might do that. But I think HBIce is probably worth a look, to be honest.
Yeah, it might be worth it.
That's just I know you're kind of joking, but that was just a thought I had that
Yeah, I think most of the eels will be running like Volt, Giga, Flame, Knock. I think that's like the standard set.
Yeah, I think Knock, but Discharge might be worth considering at this point because it's actually such a good breaker that you might not want to be vaulting out, and also being able to actually beat Jellicent.
That's a good thing. That is a good thing.
Yeah. Anyway, you're leading up to your grand reveal.
So yeah, Goodbye. That's a decent thing. I know Specs Jigglypuff was using a lot of Assault Vest Electivire, the Lilligant meta, to Vital Spirit check it and then force out the Lilligant with Ice Punch. But I feel like you can do the exact same thing, but with Motor Drive instead. Just run Assault Vest Electivire and then force it out with your physical base attacks. But none of them are any good. They're all trash. And the main thing that I wanted to say was AV Pachirisu beats them all hand over fist, easily. So the set that I've been using is Assault Vest, obviously, because it's the best item. Super Fang, U-Turn, Nuzzle, and either Mud Slap or Grass Knot. I've been leaning more towards Grass Knot, purely because the things that switch into Nuzzle and Super Fang are going to be stuff that doesn't like taking Grass Knot. So, and I was never clicking Mud Slap, so that's one reason. If you have like a fourth move, please let me know, because I have no idea what to put in that slot apart from Grass Knot. And yeah, and the spread is like max HP, max for death. Yeah.
Let me look at what Pachi.
It doesn't.
Yes, and I know people. I haven't typed anything all podcasts, and I know people definitely miss when I'm not typing right into the microphone. Let me see. What do you
Yeah.
got that works with Assault Vest? You could run. You could run Dig on a T-Spikes team.
That's interesting. But
I'm sorry.
not
So
running that much.
your main moves were Grass Knot, Nuzzle, Super Fang, and then Mud Slap.
No, U-turn.
Oh yeah, U-turn, and then Mud Slap or Grass Knot is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Dig with T-Spikes genuinely might not be the worst. It's probably really bad, because people are just going to switch into a counter anyways, and then you're stuck, especially versus like a Mudstail. You could run Fling and then also Toxic. That doesn't seem very good.
No. I'd like to say that it's actually really good at like getting like 50% off on the main like Phys Def meta checks. So if you have like a physical breaker, like a Lycanroc, it tends to support that quite well. Stuff like Stoutland as well. Also, it gets loads of powers off with Nuzzle. Because if the ground type doesn't exist, which most of the time they don't, unless it's like a Mudstail, it's pretty easy to spread like powers and stuff. It's really not that bad.
Yeah, Super Fang plus Nuzzle is just genuinely like problematic. Okay, hear me out. You run a let's say your team has like a Frostlass or a Choreo Pom Pom, and their Girder gets in. And you're like, oh, the Girder's going to click knockoff. So you go to your Pachirisu and then you use Covet.
Jesus, that is... that actually might work on the team if you have like a Sableye. Because the team that I have with Pachi has a Sableye.
Sure, like you have something where you know the Girder, like if the Girder hits a move, it's going to be knockoff. So you go to Pachirisu. Plus, if they double to something instead, they were expecting, not Pachirisu. And I mean, what else are you running? Grass Knot? Hidden Power Fire? I don't like.
Yeah,
that's so stupid and specific, but it also has legit nothing better. Like you're running Mud Slap, so I think that's not the dumbest idea.
I mean,
God, why?
Knockoff that does like 10 damage on the Girder, but
not knockoff.
I guess it works.
No, you're coveting the Girder. He knocks you off, and then you steal his item.
Yeah. If the user has no item, it steals the targets. So It's basically like, I guess it's like Trick, but it does damage after you've been knocked off.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought you were saying knock off the Girder, which like, no. Although if Pachirisu got knockoff, Nuzzle, U-turn, Super Fang, that would be so stupid.
Yeah. I mean,
Super Fang in general is just such a cool move. I'm going to search what in PU gets Super Fang.
The most common thing that I've seen around Super Fang is like maybe a Lularat in the Houndoom meta.
Oh god. Alolan Sandslash gets it. Honestly,
that's interesting.
Like people are switching in Regirock and Girder a lot, right? Like aren't most of Alolan Sandslash's switch-ins things that would not want to get Super Fanged?
Yeah, no, it's true.
What are you switching in Regirock? You're switching in Girder. It can't hit Jellicent, so that's a minus. But Ferroseed, defensive Caracosta, not really. Quillfish. I've heard of stupider ideas. I guess the problem is 4 move slot syndrome.
Yeah, I mean, that's always going to be an issue with a Lotus Slash, isn't it? Actually, I was thinking a Lotus Slash would probably be S rank if it wasn't bounded by the 4 move slots. If you could run like 5 or 6,
that'd probably be a big benefit. Let's see what else gets it. Walrein, but defensive Mawile. Oh, Electros gets it. So there you go. It's even more broken.
Oh, there you go. Easy.
I
mean, if people are going to start running Pachirisu to check.
I don't think they're going to do that, Ajad. I just something tells me they're not actually going to do that.
Okay, if
don't get me wrong, like I know Pachirisu sound like this isn't one of the worst things I've heard. Just because simply having Nuzzle plus Super Fang is like it's always going to be mildly annoying, but I'm going to predict that this won't catch on in a big way. Just a thought.
I believe in the PU community. We're a powerful entity. And I think Pachirisu will catch on.
Anyway, I think that about covers our little thing that we do here.
Yeah, it does. I think we finished.
All right, well, thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back next week with some more epic PU hijinks. Hajad's going to be a manager of a snake team. That'll be fun.
What the fuck?
And yeah, we'll talk to you guys next time. Oh god, I went to hit Discord leave call instead of end recording.